my name is Claudia Lopez. I am the Digital Marketing and Operations Manager at Black Health Matters. And today I am here with Miss M, Marcia Lee. She is a fitness and wellness guide, a mentor, and I am inspired very deeply by her journey and her story. And I wanted to make sure we gave air and space for her journey and allowed her to share with other people, because really in today's day and age, we need the inspiration. We need to be able to see ourselves within other people, and we need to be able to understand that there is a path forward and that there is positivity to look forward to and growth to look forward to. So, Miss M, would you like to introduce yourself and tell people how your journey started?
Thank you, Claudia, for having me on. So my journey began in 2009 when I went to the doctor for my annual physical, and she said, "Ms. Lee, you are borderline diabetic." And I'm like, I said, our family picks up everything but money. Mind you that everybody in my family is a diabetic, but me. I didn't want to become a statistic. So she asked me what was I doing as far as my diet and exercise regimen. I said the only thing I was doing was going to happy hour mostly, eating chicken wings and French fries and having cocktails. But it wasn't until I was taking my carpool home and I had seen a sign saying free fitness classes, sign up. So I dropped her off and circled back to the rec center to sign up. But while I was waiting to sign up, I had seen a flyer that said DC residents, if you lose 20% of your body weight, you could stop the onset of chronic diseases like diabetes, hypertension. I said, yes, where do I sign up? I signed up. The first day of orientation, we go through the orientation process, and then the dietitian gives us these books. I said, what are these books for? She said, it's a food journal. I'm like, what? What? Food journal? I said, you're violating my food rights. I don't want you to know what I'm eating. But eventually I understood the assignment. It was necessary for me to be successful in the program. So what the diary did was I had to track what I ate, my exercise regimen. So the weeks I reached a plateau, she was able to review everything. She was able to review the journal, review my exercise regimen. And we were able to come together, and it actually worked out. But at the end of the 16-week program, I had lost 4 dress sizes. I went from wearing clothes with alphabets to clothes to numbers. You know how good that felt? I was tripping over my clothes. I had to change my entire wardrobe. It took me 6 months to get rid of all those clothes I had, and I had to buy all new clothes. But during that process, I actually started exercising too. I went from not exercising at all to exercising daily. Until this day, I'm still exercising regularly. And I have kept my weight off for 15 years. This is the first time in my life that I was able to put a handle on the weight. I never let myself go 5 or 10 pounds over at all. I do a reset, start over. See, I think it's focus and discipline, and it's really work, Claudia. A lot of people don't realize that this whole weight loss journey is work. And this was, mind you, this was free. We Ozempic, Zepbound, and all of that. This was hard work, determination, and the will to want to put in the work. It really is putting in the work. It's changing your whole way of thinking about food. And now I look at food as medicine. So I went from making the pharmaceutical companies rich as far as buying antacids and laxatives, because when I was bigger, all that stuff I was putting in my body was no good. So now I haven't taken a laxative or an acid in years. I very, very rarely have to even do an acid. So rare, so infrequent in my life now. But the exercise journey has been really phenomenal as well. I like to thank my DC Parks and Recs family for offering low and no cost fitness and wellness classes that I'm able to partake in, and I still partake until this day. I'm also an ambassador for Fit DC, which is a wellness initiative that Mayor Bowser started. So I am one of the community ambassadors. So I'm everywhere in the streets as far as health and wellness. I love it. So like I said, I've done, like I said, nothing. Now I do. I didn't like walking, Claudia. I wouldn't walk like 2 inches. Now I walk all the time. I walk, I hike, I do yoga, I do Zumba, I do freestyle dance fit, I do boot camp. I do everything wellness now, Claudia. I'm always trying new things. When I go on vacation, it feels good, Claudia, that I don't have to sit back because I'm too tired, because I'm winded. I keep up with the best of them now, Claudia. I love it. So that's my journey. But in 2019, my brother Michael died. And you know what? He had been suffering from depression, but he had been depressed for years, but he didn't say anything. It wasn't until the day before he passed when he told my brother, I'm depressed and I need help. Well, Claudia, he was there within 24 hours. And I'm like, you know what? Let me bring some light to the darkness that I was feeling at that time. So I decided I wanted to be an advocate for health and wellness, especially in communities of color, Claudia, because we're very shy about our well-being. We don't want to talk about it. So I'm a big advocate of therapy. I could be the poster girl on any signage, digital or not. I could be the poster girl for therapy, because for me, therapy worked. You have to want to put in the work, find the right therapist, be ready to do a deep dive in your life. Be ready to have a breakthrough. Because see, once the breakthrough comes, you can really see things for what they are. And then you can you could react accordingly. You could plan your life. You could really change your whole trajectory of your mental health and well-being. So I also teach people how to cook healthy on a budget. I don't care your income levels. I tell people it's always about preparation and planning. And that's it. I said, you can eat very well. And my goal, my long-term goal, Claudia, is to get people to get rid of their DoorDash and Uber Eats apps forever. Because it's too much. You know how much money you're spending? Like $60 on one meal. You know how much food you can buy. And we're lucky, Claudia, that we are in, I'm in DC, where DC Department of Parks and Recs has 3 community gardens, and they give out free vegetables every week from May through the end of November. You know how good I eat. I eat well anyway, but I'm eating fresh. And I'm so sad during the winter months when it's not as robust, but I take advantage of that. And I usually go home and cook. And sometimes I post on social media what I cook with the vegetables that I've gotten from the different markets. And you know how low cost it is to make things yourself. So that's my goal, Claudia. That is my goal, to be, and just to teach people how to live the best version of themselves. And they could be the best version of themselves if they put in the work. And it's not as hard as people think. Once you start doing it, Claudia, it becomes a routine. And you're not going to want to go out here all the time. I'm not saying that you cannot go out to eat, but don't make that habitual. And kind of be mindful what we're eating, because with all the processed foods, all the sugars and starches. And I say, keep things to a minimum. So that's my goal, to teach people how to do that, Claudia.
I think one aspect of what you spoke on that is extremely important for people that they can lack when it comes to a physical journey or a mental journey, or anything really in their walk of life, is motivation. And how do we stay motivated in order to be able to create these changes within our lives? So what would you say to someone who wants to start a journey, or is thinking about starting a journey, but maybe isn't finding the motivation within themselves right now to be able to begin?
Well, Claudia, what I say, because a lot of people, some people don't like some people don't like being around other people, and that's fine. But I say, Claudia, become your best friend with YouTube. I said, YouTube has so many different exercises for all, when I tell you all levels, like all levels. But and I always tell people, then you can find an accountability partner. Doesn't have to be in person. You can find a virtual accountability partner. You can meet somebody. Hey, let's do a FaceTime. Let's do a Google Meet. Let's do a Zoom. Let's do a whatever type of digital platform that you may have. Or even those who don't want to take advantage of the digital platform, do a phone check. Hey, girl, how you doing? What you doing? How you doing? Hey, guys, what y'all doing? Let's have a call. Let's get a check-in. But for me, since I like to be outdoors, My fitness family, trust me, it was a wellness check. It was a check-in regular. Accountability was like all the time. Where you at today? Why you not here? It was always a group text. Okay, we're doing this today. We're doing that today. So for me and for anybody, you can have accountability partners, whether it's in person or virtual, because I understand people are where they are, and I'm willing. If you work with me, I can meet you where you are, because everybody, no two people are the same, and I respect that.
That's very true. One other thing that I think is important that you mentioned was what we consume and how you treat food and how you view food. So what do you think, for one, what are some foods that are positive contributors to our lives? And what are some foods that maybe we should try to cut out a little bit more or just lessen to improve that journey to wellness?
So for really an average person, and what's bad, Claudia, all that junk food, potato chips and all of that. Potatoes are the worst. And I know when I was on that potato chip train for a while, the weight came on quick. And I said, yep, it's potato chips. So now to cut that out. And the processed foods, Claudia, because the processed foods are a killer. And Claudia, and then when I go in the stores, I know how to read food labels. And then I look at all the ingredients. And they have all these ingredients. You don't even know how to spell it. You don't know how to pronounce it. Anytime you don't know how to pronounce what's in it, most of the time it's bad. It's not as good for you. But as far as like the healthy things, summertime is good for blueberries and strawberries and blackberries. All the things, those are superfoods, healthy foods. Avocados, of course, all the different lettuce and cucumbers and zucchini and squash. And people always say, ugh. But Claudia, it's all in preparation. It's on how you prepare the food. Eggplant. At first, I wasn't a big fan of eggplant. Now I'm the eggplant queen. Everybody wants me to make this eggplant curry recipe. Because I try different things, because for me, it's always trying things once. And I think, Claudia, at the end, because I'm vegan, people always say, oh, again, it's vegan. I'm like, newsflash, it's food. See, everybody who's out here listening, attention, listeners, vegan food is food. It's food. It's real food. It's just no animal products or no dairy. But vegan food is food. You will not go hungry. It's not weird. Try it. Come out of your comfort zone. You don't have to eat meat all day, every day. You don't have to die eating a piece of meat in your mouth. You don't. Try different things. And I tell people, just try different things, Claudia. Don't, instead of doing meat every day, do meat maybe every other day. Or maybe do meat, maybe once a week you don't do meat. You do meat this Mondays or meat this whatever. Just try to come out your comfort zone and switch it up a little bit. And be open to trying new things.
Definitely. I know it's cookout season, right? So we're about to enter that time where everyone wants to grill and they want to have all the sweets, and they may be doing the pie competitions and whatever else they could get their hands on. So it is going to be vital to look at whole foods, the types of whole foods that you can bring to your family events to contribute, and how that's going to impact everyone in your family and your journey, and how you share that part of your journey with each other. So one of the things that you mentioned was the mental health journey and how we navigate things like depression, and how the men in our lives navigate things like depression. So how do we start to have those conversations with the men in our life? It's men's health awareness. So I want to make sure that we share with other women how they can be present for the men in their life.
But that's a great question, Claudia. Thank you for asking that. So women, let the men be vulnerable. Let them have their space to be vulnerable, because people think that men's supposed to be hard. They don't have no emotion and all of that. But Claudia, they just like us. They human, and they've always been taught, take it like a man. Don't show any emotion, but it's okay to show emotion. And I'm loving this generation now that they are embracing that. They are doing therapy. The younger generation, the Gen Zs and millennials, I love y'all. Y'all just doing it. Y'all really, and thank you for showing that your vulnerability. And I always say too, and then Claudia, they don't want to talk to you. It's a lot of men's groups. It's a lot of great men's support groups, virtual and in person, wherever you live at. It's great. Reach out to other men that are going through that are going through the process, that are going through, some similar journeys. But we have to understand we have to let men be vulnerable. If a man want to cry, let him cry. And when I see a man cry, I've seen men in my life cry. I love it. I've had men reach out to me. Where can I seek therapy? Do you know how good that made me feel? They said, Marcia, where can I go for therapy? So I've given people references. And I think that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. But again, and even for women too, I don't want to discount women because sometimes women taught to be hard too, like Black women strong. Black women strong. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sometimes everybody has a right to break down, to have a breakthrough. Men and women. Because sometimes, Claudia, it takes a breakdown to have a breakthrough. And we have to respect that and allow that. And we have to have a place to be safe. And we have to have a space to be vulnerable. And we have to have a space where they can talk and be themselves without any type of repercussions or any type of perceptions that they punked because they sought help. Man, listen, man, you a punk. What's up with that? We have to really allow that. And I'm glad the younger generation is doing that. Now I'm glad the generation is really paying attention to that. And I'm glad there are more resources.
So I love that you mentioned that maybe it's coming a little bit easier for the younger generation. And I want to know, as someone, I have two fathers. I have my stepfather and I have my biological father. And I often try to have these conversations with them, right? And I'm wondering how I can almost meet them on their level, because it is more of a challenge to try to convince them of being able to be vulnerable. So how do we bridge that gap with our older generations? How do we bring them into this lighter awareness that maybe is easier for the younger generations to get a hold of?
Well, I could speak from being a baby boomer, but Claudia, you know what? We have to start having authentic conversations. A lot of the older generation is so much stuff under the rug. A lot of stuff has been swept under the rug. And my suggestion to you, as far as your dad and your stepdad, sit them down. Maybe you could sit down with them. Just say, tell me your story. Sometimes it just starts is not as simple, but it could be a question. But Dad, tell me about your story. How did you grow up? What were some of your challenges? What do you want? You know what I mean? Because a lot of times, Claudia, nobody has asked them how they grew up. What was their story? You really think about it? So for me, the minute my family, I remember my uncle finally telling us some things, later in life. A lot of times, Claudia, the men, they were more vulnerable later. My Uncle George, he's passed away, but he was vulnerable. And I said, thank you for being vulnerable, because Claudia, number one, you have to make them feel that they're comfortable in speaking first and foremost. You gotta make that setup comfortable. Just can't come at them. Just be natural. Hey, Dad, you know what? You see how I grew up? How'd you grow up for real? Let's just make it comfortable. Or even, Claudia, maybe you can give him a book, a journal. Say, Dad, write it down. If you don't want to talk right now, write some things down, and we can go over it. Maybe we could discuss that. Or like you doing us, do a recording. Dad, talk about it. You mind if I hit record? Yeah. Maybe but you can keep that between the two of you. But Dad, this is not going out here in the YouTube universe. This is going in our universe. Because I want to see, how you grew up. What were your challenges? What do you see for men in the future? Because a lot of times, Claudia, men and boys follow by example. So if they're seeing men, their dads, uncles, fathers, stepdads being uptight and not vulnerable and not showing, if they haven't seen anything that's been, like you said, showing their vulnerability, how you think they're going to be? Think about it. And it is generational, the trauma, because you don't even know what's going to come out. And a lot of people have gone through trauma, like generational, that is still locked in their hearts and locked in their soul and locked in their spirit. And maybe you can one that can open that.
That's very true. So I have one final question for you. And then if you have any takeaways that you want to make sure that the audience receives, what importance and value do you see when it comes to sisterhood? I think it's often, there's the perception of like the hardened or the tough or the strong Black woman. But I think there's also, especially in younger generation, I see this perception of women often being pitted against each other or extremely competitive with each other rather than elevating each other. There's the withholding of information and care and storytelling and journey telling because this is for me, and it's hard for people to share. So what has been your journey when it has come to sisterhood? How's that impacted your journey? And how can we support the women in our community?
That's an excellent question. With Claudia, coming up, we didn't have social media. First and foremost, we did not have social media. So our whole communication was different. Everything was in person or on the phone. It wasn't through the apps. It wasn't through Insta, Facebook, TikTok, and all of that. YouTube, it wasn't through that. It was through actual human interaction. For me, personally, I do have a sisterhood. I'm extremely fortunate to have sisterhood in my life. I have groups of sisters. I have different groups of sisterhood. I have women I've grown up with. I have my fitness community. I have people I've been friends with for a decade. It's just for me. And then I have the LinkedIn community who have become my friends now. And Claudia, unfortunately, like I said, social media is sometimes a fraud. And people can't even be authentic through that because they're hiding behind a post. So that's going to be really, it's not hard, but we just have to teach. We have to just show people that we all are in this journey together. And like I said, that strong Black woman situation, that whole strong Black woman story, we got to get rid of that dialogue, because yes, we can hold our own, but it's also okay to be vulnerable. And it's also okay for us to be in a group. It's okay for us to cry. It's okay for us to laugh together. It's okay for us to share our stories. It's okay for us. And with the younger people too, Claudia, again, the sisterhood. A lot of times, Claudia, see, I grew up with my mother and my aunts. They had friends. They always had circles of friends. So a lot of times, Claudia, I grew up with that. So for me, I had a circle. See, a lot of people did not grow up seeing their parents with circles of friends. So a lot of times, and then with the anxiety and depression and different other types of social illnesses, mental health situations going on, it's going to be a little difficult. And then the bullying aspect, Claudia, is real. The bullying aspect. So a lot of people are not going to feel comfortable really going out here to reach out because of their vulnerabilities. And maybe they might be bullied or not liked for whatever reason, or not in the clique. Yeah. So we just have to teach. Number one, we have to teach our ladies, love yourself first, that you are loved. You are loved by yourself, with yourself, and for yourself. And once you have to really have those affirmations. You have to say those affirmations, Claudia. Do affirmations, maybe add some meditation, maybe add some breath work, add some things that have been not traditional in the past. Have some things to make you be focused on your inner being. And maybe, and keep your journal. Start your journal. The journal is dope. Keep your journals. Write down things, and maybe start a club. You could even start, if you don't want to, again, if you don't want to be in person, so you understand that. Do a virtual journey. Do an Instagram live virtual journey, or do like if you want to be more intimate, do a Zoom, do a Google, do something, do some type of virtual journey classes. Do like a rap session. Hey girls, this girls rap time, ladies rap time. What's happening? Different things. Then we have to think. We have to go. We have to hit the mediums and the platforms on where they are, and where you think they will best receive the information.
Is there anything that you would like to make sure our audience, like key takeaways? What specifically should our audience take away from this call? What should they carry with them? What should be their next move?
The next move is, where do you see yourself? But sometimes people always, and you know how you go on job interviews and people always ask, where do you want to be in 5 years? Well, I said, I tell them, I don't even know where I want to be in 5 days. Just see where you want to be. Set yourself up. Do goals, but I always say, don't make goals so unrealistic that they're not attainable. What do you want to be in a week? What do you want to be in a month? What do you want to be in 3 months? 3 months. What do you want to be in 9 months? But Claudia, everybody's journey doesn't look the same. And I recognize that. And I know for me, like you said, Claudia, I made that U-turn. When I dropped my carpool off, that was it for me. And I tell people, everybody has a different bottom. At that moment, that U-turn was my bottom, the rise to the top. So I tell people, when you are ready, you will know when you're ready. And you would take action, but know when you're ready. There's support systems out here that can help you attain your wellness journey, your health journey, your fitness journey, your eating journey. Look, we have to look at food as being medicine. Food is the way to heal our soul and our body, and not just to eat. Think of it like that. And think of exercise not as, oh my God, I gotta exercise. Think of exercise as a part of your movement activity, of your mental movement. It is all now also physical, but it's a mental movement, the exercise. Think of it like that. And you can start slow and work your way up. Because I think a lot of times people see people working out like they have lost their mind, but no, start slow. It's levels for everybody to be successful in their journey. Thank you, Claudia.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms.